Thank you all for being here this evening. We're going to start with our regular 3 minutes public comment section. I have names already up here. Once everyone that wants to speak has spoken their 3 minutes, we'll adjourn that part of the meeting and the board members will be here. We can have one-on-one individual conversations with you. We can also speak to you in groups of 2, but unfortunately due to basically our public meeting laws and parameters, beyond that, we have to do everything in an open session, so it'll be, we'll be available though as long as you'd like to speak to us afterwards. It is the duty of the chairperson of the school board, with assistance from the county sheriff as necessary, to conduct the meeting in an orderly manner and to limit discussion to topics relevant to the issue before the board for consideration. Persons addressing the school board are advised to limit their remarks to those relevant to the pending items. No persons in attendance shall be allowed to voice remarks except as recognized by the chairperson or the clerk of the board after audibly stating their name and whom they represent, if applicable. No person shall bring into the boardroom any sign, banner, or other such item which would interfere with other members of the public in seeing, hearing, or otherwise participating in the meeting, provided that models, photos, maps, charts, drawings, and other such demonstrated materials intended for use in a presentation by a specific person shall be permitted. Upon recognition by the chair or the clerk of the board, the speaker shall address the school board chair, confine their comments to issues of public concern relating to the operation of Warren County Public Schools, refrain from words or statements which, from their usual construction and common acceptance, are defamatory to specific individuals or tend to violence or breach of the peace, refrain from obscenity and vulgarity, stay within allotted time, and stop speaking when directed by the chairperson. Groups or individuals in the audience creating an atmosphere detrimental to or disturbing the orderly conduct of the meeting will be asked to refrain from such conduct once. Any additional disturbance after the warning will not be tolerated, and the chairperson will ask the county sheriff to remove the individual, group, or clear the boardroom so that the board can conduct the business of the school division. When recognized, please state your name for the record, whether you are a county resident, parent of a Warren County Public School student, or an employee of the school division, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. And I will ask us all to stick to the 3 minutes this evening and realize that during those 3 minutes, the board members aren't going to be having conversation back and forth, but again, we will be staying afterwards and we're happy to have those conversations with you at that time. I have some names up on the list this evening, and the first one is Amy Flora.
Are you ready? Because tonight, I'm speaking for myself, Amy Flora, resident and teacher in Warren County. I am not speaking as president or treasurer for the WCEA. Therefore, no WCEA member or anyone besides myself is to be held accountable for the words that I speak here. So buckle up. What are you doing? Seriously. We have been heading in such a positive direction, and for some reason, now there is this threat of total destruction. You want to put cameras in the classroom? If you do, here's a suggestion. Point them at the door, grab a chair and some popcorn, and watch a number of excellent teachers leave to go to another county 20 minutes down the road, make $20,000 more a year, and not suffer the indignity of the stigma that they are so untrustworthy that they must be monitored every second of their workday. And what is this nonsense about a vote of no confidence in Dr. Ballinger? Thank you to those who showed the most basic of common sense not to second that motion. Yes, I am just as heartbroken, frustrated, and angry as everyone else about our children being hurt either by their own hands or by those of another. Yes, the individual issues at different schools need attention. Without question, these events need to be addressed. Of course, there are policies that need to be changed, updated, and even created. But that's happening at every county, even at the state level. The requirements for curriculums, the needs of students, the laws around education, and the overall dynamic in the classroom have such drastic changes that I have to rewrite all of my lessons every year, if not every semester. So to say that Dr. Ballinger, who has neither created nor refused to amend any existing policy, is to blame for them being outdated or ineffective is absurd. So knock it off. Do your job to continue what has been happening since Dr. Ballinger came into his position, which is improving Warren County Public Schools. Quit trying to cast blame reserved for the entire system on one individual, and stop spreading rumors and lies to feed your personal agenda. In a recent teacher discussion forum with an option for anonymity that no one felt the need to use, for over an hour and a half of open and honest discussion, not one comment was anything less than supportive of Dr. Ballinger, not one. And both Dr. Pence and Mrs. Salins can verify that I speak the truth. So enough with the degradation and the petitions and the scorn. That is not showing support for the teachers of Warren County Public Schools. Because I don't know what mythical superintendent you believe is out there that can foresee every need and challenge and have the ability to adjust the course of an entire school system in the blink of an eye with an increasingly unworkable budget while still maintaining the unwavering support of the staff. But I'll tell you what, if they exist, you are not creating any environment where they would ever want to come to Warren County. So the only thank you I will give tonight is to Dr. Ballinger. You have the support of so many teachers. We are disgusted and appalled at what you're being unfairly subjected to. You deserve better, and we deserve you.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Jones. I'm a lifelong member of Warren County. My husband and I both graduated from Warren County High School, and I've chosen to raise our children in this community because it is a positive and safe place for me growing up, and I wanted that for my children as well. I know that much of what you hear at these meetings are complaints about negative interactions within the school system. It's all over social media as well. I think all of the county has seen and heard plenty of the bad things that have happened. So let me say that these are not everyone's norm. My children attend LFK and Warren County Middle School, and over the last 7 years, we have had mostly positive interactions and experiences with the schools and their staff. My children are genuinely happy to attend school each day and are just as happy when they return home to me, with very few exceptions. This has been our norm. I do, however, think some changes could be made to help children feel safer in the schools and parents feel safe sending them there each day. It is concerning to me that the most unsafe place in our schools is the last place you would assume, the bathrooms. There have been some very concerning incidences in both our middle schools and high schools. This year alone, children have been physically and sexually assaulted in the bathrooms at school. They have used this space for vaping and drug use that has nearly taken their lives. It's only a matter of time before it actually happens. I want Dr. Ballinger and the members of the school board to put the health and safety of our children at the forefront of every decision you make. I want to see and hear the changes being made, and I don't mean policy updates. It's time for some research, development, and implementation of safe spaces for our students to use the restroom. There are solutions to these issues, and they're being implemented all over the country successfully. The reason why parents are so frustrated is because we see and hear the problems day after day, but then do not see any noticeable changes being made. This is why I feel so strongly that the superintendent and members of the school board should consider opening and creating focus groups for both teachers and parents to help troubleshoot these ideas and how we might correct them. Working together, hearing the ideas of your teachers, staff, and parents who deal with these issues firsthand, and our parents who actively telling you that they want more communication, transparency, and insight could go a long way in building trust with your parents and making your teachers feel heard and valued. There is an overwhelming amount of work that needs to be done, but if we work together as a community, it can be done. I want to end by saying I truly appreciate each and every teacher and staff member who walks into those school buildings every morning with the goal of helping our children learn and grow while creating a safe, happy environment for every child. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stevie Hubbard, and I have my children have graduated from Warren County Public Schools. I now have a nephew and two nieces that attend public schools here that I am joke and say I'm like their baby daddy at this point because I handle all the issues that they have at the schools. So I work with the schools quite often. I've had children attend Ressie Jeffries, E. Wilson, Hilda J. Barber, Skyline Middle, and Skyline High School. And so I wanted to talk to some of the things that are concerning me that I've been seeing on social media and that I have been hearing about in the community. Our schools are facing what many schools are facing all over the United States right now, post-pandemic. The issues that we are experiencing at our schools are not an anomaly. They're happening all over the United States. I'm very upset with the fear-mongering that has been going on, and that's not to say that these issues don't need to be addressed. They do. But there's not something that is being done differently here than is being done you know, to make these things happen. These are issues that are happening post-pandemic. I've spoken with teachers, I've spoken with students, I've spoken with an array of people that have found Dr. Ballinger to be excellent, that he's provided the resources that they need to make things work in their schools, and they all feel that they are making progress. I want to kind of explain the timeline for the parents that don't understand. Dr. Ballinger started during a pandemic, and then he has dealt with a disruptor on his school board for most of his tenure. And I know that that makes jobs hard to tweak policy and things of that nature. And, you know, if anybody disagrees, they can feel free to raise their hand. But I think that trying to pack this off on him is a misstep in our school's future. I think that it takes time to change a culture of a school system, and I hope that the greater community will give him the opportunity to do so. And I hope that the school board plans on doing the same thing. We are seeing progress in our schools. We are seeing people actively attack the issues that are going on our schools, and unfortunately, these things don't happen overnight. I have total faith in Dr. Ballinger, and when speaking with the teachers, staff, and greater community, most people that I've spoken with feel exactly the same way that I do. So thank you guys so much for your time, and Dr. Ballinger, thank you for the excellent work that you've been doing with our schools.
My name is Marlena Connor. I'm a teacher at Skyline Middle School. I also live 3 blocks away from Skyline Middle School. I just wanted to say I support Dr. Ballinger as well as Dr. Johnston 100%. Dr. Johnston had run the school for the love of our kids and our community. If you ask any of our kids at Skyline Middle School, they will say who their favorite admin is, Dr. Johnston. There were many issues brought up that have been brought up that Dr. Ballinger has taken care of. I had an issue last year. I emailed him at 10:45 in the morning. He was at my classroom door by 1 p.m. to take care of the issue, and he did. Dr. Ballinger has built our community and our school up, okay? I really loved Melody Shepard, and I was a little worried. I was really upset. I was like, oh gosh, she should have been named. And he came in, and I was really glad that he did. Now, let me tell you who has not been supportive of our education system. Ms. Salins. I would like to talk about the prison-like comment. There are people in this community that have given their life's body and soul to take care of these children, and you just set them back by calling our children prison-like. Now, you don't know because you are not in the public education system, and neither are your children. So, if you decide that the public education system is not for your children, then why are you here? All right? If you say our school is like a prison, our school is not like a prison, actually. Our school is wonderful. We've had some pretty horrible situations. How dare you talk about my children that way? How dare you? So if anybody should be leaving the school board, it is you. Thank you.
You did it. That's it. It's a hard name. Okay. Hi, guys. So, came up to talk about bullying. We know that it can be long-lasting. Victims experience depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and in some cases, suicidal thoughts. So with that, I'd like to say you have a problem at Skyline Middle School. This problem existed before the board members right here and before Dr. Ballinger. Your common denominator in these horror stories out of Skyline Middle is the principal. I've emailed you all a copy. Dr. Ballinger, I apologize, I did not send you. I will forward it to you. A letter that was written by my lawyer in 2019. I know it's a long time ago, but it's relevant. I'll summarize here so the rest of the parents can kind of get an idea. My child was bullied in 7th grade. A child in class told everyone to stay away because my child was gay and would rape them, leading to the class laughing and pointing. What did the principal do? Absolutely nothing. My child was then so depressed that they engaged in minor self-injury. It was a pen cap to the skin. And the school called me and told me I had to pick up my kid immediately and could not return until I was cleared with a therapist, or they would be taking my child to Winchester Medical Center to seek psychiatric treatment without my permission. It took me a while to do that. My kid had to miss quite a bit of school, and the kid already has an IEP, so playing catch up wasn't easy. When we finally did return, my kid was forced to sign a no-contact contract with the bully as if they'd done something wrong. It adds insult to injury. It makes the victims feel guilty and ashamed, and it did nothing for my kid's self-esteem. I continued to challenge this principle, which led to retaliation. My kid was under a microscope, every single thing. Every little thing that we did. Luckily, it's awful to say that COVID was the best thing that ever happened to my child, but it was, because we got out of the school and out of underneath that principal. Just to give you an idea of just how much this bullying affected my kid, I didn't go to work a lot because I was afraid that if I left, I wouldn't have a child to come home to. It was that bad. So, yes, you have a problem at this school, and the problem is the principal. Despite what others may say about Dr. Johnston, the problem is absolutely the principal. And you guys can put in all the best policies that you can think of, but it doesn't matter if someone like him doesn't follow them. So, that's all. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Cretier. I've been a county resident since 1989. My husband and I chose 3 different ways of educating our children. We decided to homeschool our older children before moving here, did so until junior high, both graduating from Warren County High School. Our younger daughter attended private school until 6th grade and is now at Warren County Middle. When my children were not students in the public schools, I never thought it was my place to tell the school system how to educate enrolled students. Therefore, I'm extremely concerned about homeschooling candidates who have said they want to take over our school board. We already have one in you, Mrs. Salins, and you have already caused irreparable harm. You successfully shut down the social emotional learning curriculum. In schools that implement SEL, studies showed decreased violence, academic improvement, a decrease in student conduct problems, substance use, and emotional distress. All problems rightly highlighted by you. More homeschoolers on the board would mean you are well on your way to successfully taking over the schools. The goal mentioned by Colonel Lundberg at the first Moms for Liberty meeting begun by Leslie Matthews. Watch it on royalexaminer.com. Mrs. Salins says she doesn't parent with the government. She says parents should know what the schools are doing. I agree. However, for many reasons, parents aren't always as involved as the schools wish for them to be. Turnout for the review of the SEL curriculum was poor. The Warren Coalition's presentation last month on vaping and drug use had 4 attendees: Dr. Ballinger, Dr. Johnston, and Mrs. Diener, Warren County Middle School's principal and dean of students, and me. Not discouraged, they immediately discussed other ways to reach parents. The schools begged parents to contact their teachers and administrators with questions or concerns. It's a shame that so few do so. But this small group seems to take a talking point from their national groups and run with it without simply asking the schools if the situation is the same here. And if you homeschool, how would you know all the efforts made to engage parents? An attendee at Mrs. Matthews' Moms for Liberty meeting said the schools need to get back to trades education. Astounding, as I know that our schools offer a robust range of trades classes, from culinary arts, nurse aid training, to so many of the construction trades. Pure ignorance of our school system because they did not bother to ask. Yes, we have an increase in violence in our secondary schools. Could this have been prevented if we had had an SEL program in place? So maybe this was your plan all along, Mrs. Salins, to begin the destruction of our public schools by being on the school board. Finally, I retired as lead nurse for our schools and was privileged to work with a variety of our school staff, from administrators and teachers to janitors and bus drivers. Now there's a campaign to remove Dr. Ballinger.
Remind me if I see her across the room the other way. She looks scared.
Hi, my name is Tammy Sharp. I'm a lifelong resident of Warren County. I'm also the executive director of Phoenix Project, which is a local agency that serves victims of domestic violence and sexual assault from all ages. And I want to be part of the solution. We are here and we are ready to offer primary prevention programs as young as kindergarten on up. So please reach out to us. Consider allowing those programs into your schools so that we can help. You know, what I'm doing now as executive director is putting a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. We have to change the behaviors. We have to change the social norms. And it isn't getting better on its own. So I just offer air services and air support. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Virginia Cram. You may remember I appeared at the school board meeting on September 6th in which I told you about my son, Aiden, being brutally assaulted. I'm not here to address you alone per se this time. I'm here to also address the other parents, family, and staff in the room who are just as fed up with the schools as I am for not protecting our children from actual violence. Not the threat of violence, but actual, lasting, life-altering physical violence. Parents, faculty, and families of Front Royal and Warren County, please take down this phone number if you have an issue with your students' safety, your own safety, or how the school has handled the safety of our schools. I want to hear from you personally. Your stories will remain anonymous. The number is 540-686-8286. Since my son's jaw was broken and adult teeth dislodged, I have learned that my child is not the only one to meet a similar fate. In this school year alone at Skyline Middle School, a female student was mounted and repeatedly punched in the face by another female student in the gymnasium. There has been a sexual assault of a young girl by other students. The students, plural, held her down, and I will spare you the extreme details because it's too graphic. Were any of you notified of these horrific events? You deserve to know whether or not your children are safe here. They are hiding major problems from you. What is it going to take to keep these children safe? These children don't feel safe, they don't feel protected, the faculty don't feel like they get support from administration, and both the students and faculty are completely justified in their fears as they have seen these assaults are not taken seriously. I take it seriously. Other parents and families I have talked to take it seriously. If the school and the board won't put measures in place to protect our students, then it's entirely up to us, the parents and protectors of our children, to take a stand. We won't know the policies that need to be changed until we share what our children and school staff have personally been through. In case you did not hear it the first time, my number is 540-686-8286, and I urge you to contact me so we can gather and rally to change school policies to protect our children and staff, because apparently no one else will. Aiden was assaulted 40 days ago. We continuously have been directed to only speak to the school's attorney, and in the last 40 days, we have not heard one single answer about the attack that was mishandled entirely by the school. I'm looking at you. They aren't here to take accountability. They are here to cover this up, not on my watch. This fight has just begun. I won't stop until your children, our children, and the ones teaching our children every day can feel safe going to the schools that our tax dollar pay for. They all deserve better. Thank you.
Hello, I'd like to first introduce myself. I am a mother, a Skyline High School alum, and a resident of Warren County of 15 years. My experience with Warren County Public Schools as a student was incredibly positive despite coming from a low socioeconomic background with an uninvolved single parent. The admins, teachers, and staff, some of which are in this room, that I have encountered in Warren County Public Schools helped make me successful. I am the chair of Defense and Democracy, and you may be wondering who we are. Well, we are a nonprofit, nonpartisan grassroots organizations started by parents to advocate for parents, teachers, students, librarians, and all Americans who are fighting every day to protect their civil rights from hate groups. We work together to strengthen communities, and we advocate for a public education system that supports and enhances our shared experiences. I have watched and been present at the last 3 board meetings. I am horrified by the children who have suffered abuse in our schools. I am horrified by the discipline issues at Skyline Middle School, and I am greatly upset by the adoption of policies that put children of different gender identities at risk of abuse at home. This is not indicative of the school system that I experienced. And I hope this board can move forward to create policies that increase safety, especially that will create a more positive environment at Skyline Middle School for teachers, students, and staff. I'd like to also share that the vision of our county's future and the safety of our children is too important to be utilized as political pawns. Melanie, I hope your intentions are true, and I hope to see our school system improve enough for your own students to be able to attend here. To the candidates running for school board positions, we can see your affiliations with Christendom College and Moms for Liberty, and the views you push that posture to bringing religious extremism to our schools. We hope that you would be a fighter for the Constitution that allows for religious freedoms and separation of church and state. Lastly, I'd like to thank foundational individuals who have built our schools and whose spirits carry through our policies and should reflect how this board moves forward. Thank you to Margaret Holmes at EWM for teaching me the importance of kindness. Thank you to the Logan family, Dyke family, Biggs family, Rinker family, Fox family, Fristo family, Kenny family, who have taught and led school systems for multiple generations. Thank you to an educator who has taught and fostered our school system for over 15 years. I leave you with these words of one last educator that you can find painted over the main entrance to this school. The choices you make today shape your world tomorrow. Thank you.
There's a new sheet up there with the are coming up, just so Mr. Valentine has it over hers. Sure.
Good evening. I stand before you today as a parent that is scared to death for the future of our children. Melanie Salins, you are using your position on the school board as a portal for the indoctrination of hate into our children and the very foundation of our education system. It is your duty to advocate for and maintain an environment inclusive to all students, parents, teachers, and administrators. I am disgusted at the hateful rhetoric that you are using and furious that you are using our students and parents as a ploy in the overall agenda. The way in which you speak about us as parents and about our children that attend public schools speaks to the fact that you are completely unaware of the issues that our children and parents face in the real world today. The majority of us do not live in a bubble and are doing the very best that we can to raise kind, productive members of society. I am also furious that you continue to fearmonger and present issues to which you have no answers for other than to spew hate on social media. Bullying and violence are a very real issue in our schools today, and by inciting hate against any other human being is adding fuel to an already raging fire. Issues must be handled and dealt with, but most recently cannot be dealt with because we are all scared to death at the hands of fear and hate. Your attempt to oust Dr. Ballinger is only because you have another waiting in the wings from the Christendom bubble. Our children have enough coming at them without the induction of fascism. Our children have enough coming at them without the induction of fascism. And yes, while I am running for a seat on the school board, I want to make it very clear that I am standing before you as a mother that is furious and scared to death. And Dr. Ballinger, I also want to say to you that my girls both came in and sung your praise last night for showing up at the schools for when there was a death of their peers, when there was a tornado warning. So thank you. From a mother, thank you.
Okay, I'm Leslie Matthews, and I'll just be honest. When this forum was publicized, I didn't realize it was going to be a praise session or a degrading session. So I came with concerns. I am campaigning for a seat on this school board, and this is what I'm hearing from parents while I'm out there. There are many, many parents telling me that when they go to the schools, they walk in the offices with their concerns about things that are going on, that they are being told, instead of giving a resolution, they're being told, well, take your kid home and homeschool them. And I want to kindly remind all of us here that our public schools belong to and they exist and operate through all of Warren County taxpayers. Our schools are to be a service to our community, providing a high-quality education to our children. Warren County Public Schools should not be tossing parents and their children to the side with an attitude of, if it's not working for you, go find your own way. These are our schools. We need to take pride in them, and parents must always have a say in anything that pertains to their children. Now, my second concern here tonight is what was shared with me, is we parents are being offered to volunteer inside of our schools, which is greatly appreciated. But in order to do so, we must pay $30 to Warren County Public Schools, fill out an application stating our work and military experience, complete references, have our fingerprints recorded, and then await clearing from the FBI. Now, I know things are crazy in this world. Yeah, Ms. Hubbard, that amazes me. But anyway, things are crazy in this world, but this seems to be rather as a deterrent than a welcoming to parents to come into our schools, especially when they just want to monitor the halls or oversee the bathrooms, make paper copies. Doesn't a basic sex offender background check, wouldn't that seem sufficient? That's just a question that people are asking me. And for those that want to call me an extremist, that's okay, because I want all of you to know that I will go to whatever extreme it is to make sure that parents have their rights and that our children are protected. Thank you.
Not extremist enough. Let anybody in the school. Go ahead. Run around. Touch some kids.
Absolutely. Do you want to know what district I'm in? Okay. My name is Kelsey Lawrence, and I have 4 kids in Warren County schools. And I'm a little concerned by some of the things that I am hearing and seeing. Just to let you know, Ms. Matthews, that's for a background check. It's kind of standard, so we don't have offenders in our schools. I know that's like new. So while they say they're listening now, they're not. As soon as they get on this board, I'm talking McFadden's and I'm talking Matthews, they will not waste time. They will start removing books, removing history. They don't care about parents' rights. They're using that as a tactic to get you fired up. Because if they cared about parents' rights, they would have been doing it from the beginning, not just a year ago when they decided to run for office. It's disgusting. They can't even protect their own from predators in their own school. We got FOIAs all over the Save Samuel's website of one of these candidates. It's full of hate. And he's going to come to that board with the same hate. And he's going to point it towards your kids, not towards books. He's going to point it towards kids. They are the ones who are sowing hate and division. I care about what happens in schools. I want schools to be a safe place. This is not that. So, I'm in the business of defending teachers, defending librarians, defending parents, and that's what I want to do. So, I'll be calling you, Virginia.
Can't wait.
Hello. My name is Sarah Griffith. I am a member of this community. I have raised 2 students through Skyline High School who have done exceptionally well here. I have homeschooled my children. I have placed them in private Christian school, but I choose public schools. I choose these public schools. I think it's imperative that we consider the many, many good things that we are doing here at Skyline High School, because all we hear is negative. And that is very bothersome to me, because I work very hard to make sure that my students are well cared for in this building. And I'm sorry, but this makes me very upset. What I can tell you is that teenagers hit puberty and they have rapidly developing brains, comparable to that of toddlers. We are going to have behavioral issues, and I'm not for violence and people feeling unsafe by any means, but it is going to happen. It's inevitable in any school. It will happen. What we can control is how we react to that. But I think we can start by coming together as a community to address the overwhelming crisis that we have in our community with some of our old students that have spoke here tonight. The people she leaned on were her teachers, her administrators. If we take away their ability to do that, who will they have? Who would my kids have had when they came to school and had a bad day and needed somebody to talk to? I want them to talk to Mr. Lee. I want them to talk to their administrators. I can tell you that we care about our students almost as much as we care about our own children. We spend our money on them and our time on them quite often. Please allow us to teach every student every day and leave your politics out of our school system. Thank you very much.
Yes, one moment, my apologies. Okay. Hello, my name is Alicia Flora. I'm a resident of Warren County, as well as a senior at Warren County High School. Whew. From what I have seen from these meetings, the speakers are mostly parents and faculty. Today, I will be speaking from the perspective most of you ignore, the students. I definitely do not speak for everyone, but I am here to share my own observations and views in the hopes that you guys start to understand that we are the ones affected by your choices. My biggest concern, to put it plainly, why are cameras in the classroom being considered? What do you think of your faculty? If they cannot be trusted alone with a classroom of students to the extreme that they must be under surveillance, why are you allowing them to be in a classroom of students in the first place? If I'm correct, the problems that have sparked this request have nothing to do with lack of surveillance, but rather untrustworthy faculty and lack of energy put to finding proper teachers. How about you nip it in the bud and spend those thousands of dollars that you are considering allocating towards cameras and put it towards proper training and professional evaluations for new hires? If my observations are correct, attendance has been a big topic recently. Do you really think students are going to willingly wake up early in the morning just to be recorded every second of the day? As much as people try to say that school is meant for learning, it is the social life of many of these students and the only reason they attend. My school days consist of waking up, driving to school, taking my classes, driving home, and doing more schoolwork until I realize it is past midnight and I am still slouched over my Chromebook. Many other kids have a similar schedule. The only time they get to speak to their friends is in school. You say this is for the safety of us, but no one is going to feel comfortable doing or saying anything. This may be an extreme example, but let's assume a student is unsafe at home and wishes to confide in their friend. Sometimes people don't realize the severity of their situation until speaking about it. If their every move and word is documented, do you think they're going to have that conversation? Do you think anyone is going to feel comfortable speaking about anything? Yes, you may catch an altercation on camera, but why should the privacy of thousands of students suffer for that? You guys are starting to go in the right direction and accounting for your mistakes, but this will set you back so much more than you realize. I'm running out of time, but I would like to mention one more thing. I can only speak for Warren County High School myself, but most of the teachers are trying. Most of the admin are trying. My mother, who teaches at the school, works way beyond her paycheck. Principal Kinesh is always moving within the school to resolve situations as they occur. Even our superintendent, Dr. Ballinger, goes out of his way to show up at the school. However, the rest of you, I've never seen your faces except through my phone. It would be nice to see you guys actually involve yourselves in the community that you make the decisions for. That is all. I will end by saying thank you to our hardworking teachers, thank you to our hardworking admin and Principal Kinesh, thank you to Superintendent Ballinger, and thank you for the opportunity.
I thought I would hear more about kids and the issues they were facing in our schools tonight versus who's doing this or that. So let me start. Melanie, I appreciate you for the people saying you're hateful. Well, I've been going to the school board and for years prior to Dr. Ballinger because of the use of the N-word and kids really having to sit there and take it. She's the one who helped me. Good job being hateful. Thank you. But between that, Dr. Ballinger put something out within a week, very soon to put something in place that there are consequences that we just don't go around saying it. There's a teacher back here, pretty sure it is the one, brought a kid to a basketball game that was kicked out of the game before, shouldn't have been there. Melanie didn't harm my kid, but that could have harmed my kid because you have angry parents that remember that face. Why is that kid here? What are they doing here? Those are things that are harmful to kids, not holding them accountable and letting them know that they are better than this. Not giving them a better way. That is harmful to our kids because when they are 18, there are consequences. There's no more somebody holding your hand. And I don't want a kid to be the highest consequence giving, because they're gonna mess up. I messed up hundreds of times. Thank God I was not ruined by one mistake. But we have to do better, and we can't not address the issues and just think they're gonna go away. You can't say, oh, everything's perfect. It's not, and it's not gonna be, but we can do better. So what can we do to make it better? Blaming everybody, going back and forth, you are not helping anyone. Nothing is gonna get solved because you're not gonna come to a middle ground. These are kids. All of this back and forth, it just shouldn't exist. Like, there is something that we can do for them. And I believe that Dr. Ballinger, he can do that. Will it happen overnight? No, but we should see improvement. When you see that you have an administrator that is failing to uphold the rules that are put in place, who's held accountable for that? You know, my kids have had wonderful teachers, wonderful principals, but there have been times I'm just like out of my wits' end because I know what's happening is not right and I can't make it work. And I give you my most precious gift every day. Like, I need to know I can trust people when I hand my kids over. And I hope that everyone quits fighting and quits going back and forth and does what's best for our kids and our teachers, because if our teachers are not happy, our kids are not going to be successful either. So I hope everyone comes to an agreement that to do what's best for the kids.
Mike Salins. I just want to say one thing really is it'd be nice if everybody would actually watch all the school board meetings so you actually have the full picture. I think a lot of you guys you get stuck in social media land where everybody's just behind a keyboard and doesn't actually listen to everything the board is trying to accomplish. And like, the SEL program is still going. It never stopped. It was paused for 1 month, but a number of people still think that it was voted out. So carry on with all the hatred, but just inform yourselves and stop listening to nonsense getting spread around town.
Hi, my name is Emma Wright. I don't have kids in the system, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys feel like I shouldn't even be speaking. However, we all do have the right to express our opinions, express our own fight into the argument. In my opinion, I think that cameras would be great, and it's not just for the kids, it's for the teachers, it's for everybody here. I'm sure that there are a lot of students here who say that teachers did something and it actually didn't happen. So it's not just for the kids, it's for those teachers too. Besides that, for the kids in our pre-K program who can't speak because of disabilities, or for those who are just unable to protect themselves, being that they are 3, 4, and 5 years old, why would we not want that? It makes no sense to me. Melanie Salins, I do fully support you. It just doesn't make sense. And I 100% feel that nothing is actually going to change until somebody who is important, God forbid, and I hope not, nothing ever happens, but I do not think that anything's going to change until someone who's important, something bad happens then. Because we, the people, are not important to you guys. We're not important to anybody here. So, thank you.
With that, we're going to adjourn this part of the meeting, but I know a lot of people have spoken, and there are a lot of people here that didn't speak publicly tonight, so if you came because you want to have individual conversations, I hope you'll stick around and talk to us. Okay? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn. Okay, yeah.